already all over the world. Now let's talk about the grand slam, the terahertz technology, the frequency here. All right, in 2004, the US government named terahertz technology as one of the top 10 technology that will change the future world. Where is it found? Well, in the spectrum of frequency. This is in between microwave and infrared. Now let's talk about science. The frequency is 2 to 17 terahertz, which is very good for human body. Its range and wavelength is 30 microns to 3,000 microns, all right? You might not know about this, but in other words, it can pass through clothing, materials like paper, plastic, and glass. They call this non-ionizing frequency. Now, it's being used in medical, aviation, telecommunication, even weapons. They're using terahertz for that sort, and it's really amazing. Why? Because it's not harmful to the body. Now, when this was discovered very young, 40 years ago, by the American scientists in 1980, they were mind blown because the vibrational frequency of terahertz is the same with the vibrational frequency of our cells. That's amazing. We call it resonance. What is resonance? You know, you take a glass of wine, all right, and you start to pitch. You see this in TVs, right, or YouTube. A person pitch the frequency of the glass wine, and when she starts screaming, what happens to the glass wine? It shatters. That's what we call frequency. Frequency amplifies the energy, and there is what we call resonance. All right? When there is resonance, the other object begins to vibrate and increases its energy, and it starts to shatter. But that's not what's the case in our cells. When you switch on the iTeracare, it's the same thing. Our cells begins to vibrate, millions of vibration per second. And what happens to the cells? Well, it's not going to shatter. All right. What happens is the cells will begin to recharge itself. It's like a generator being recharged. What happens when it's recharging? It's activating. And what happens if it's activating? Then the cells begins to function optimally. Now, what happens to bad cells? Bad cells will begin to self-destruct. We call this imploding. All right, that's why Japanese scientists call this light of life, and the Chinese scientists call this God's wave band. How does iTeracare work? All right, Nathan, I'm wondering it. I'm going to blow my body, but what's the science? Can you explain the process? Well, here it goes. It first uses radiant heat. The current that passes through the coil, there is a coil inside the tube, all right? We call it the nichrome element. It creates the radiant infrared heat inside the coil. Now, when this heat, all right, together with terahertz, passes through the optical quartz tube, it starts to excite the electrons inside there. Amazing. Now, with terahertz, all right, there is this void of different impurities. When we say impurities, these are the 100+ minerals. With the optical quartz tube, there is vibration again. It generates more and more terahertz frequency. Now, convection current comes in. What is that? This current is a force that the radiant air, together with the optical tube and the terahertz, begins to flow such amazing combination of energy and transdermal delivery. What is transdermal delivery? When the frequency passes through outside the one, it is delivered directly to the skin. Now, this is the final thing. When it passes all this tube and everything goes to your skin, there is what we call quantum field. And quantum field amplifies the energy signature around it, making it more powerful and effective. That's why our device is one of its kind. It's the best in the world because you're not just talking about terahertz. We have a lot of wonderful components here. So once you want your body, whatever your intention, it is amplified. So this is my suggestion. When you're wanting, you know what? Don't complain. Start saying, my kidney is healing. All right, my body is well. I am happy. I'm joyful. My eyes is healing. Once you do that, because of the quantum field and the energy, it begins to amplify the effect. And that's what we call resonance. Kirlian photography. When you start blowing your body, you begin to increase your bodily aura. What is aura? It's the light. You see, you take a picture of an apple, it has purplish light. It captures the energy using this camera. That's why it is very healthy to eat fruits and vegetables, because in terms of energy and frequency, they have more light compared to a slice of meat. All right. Now, how does terahertz and scalar energy help the cells? You know, a normal cell, according to science, has 20 to 25 millivolts. When it's exposed to stress, bad diet, radiation, or acidity, toxicity, it becomes weakened. A weak cell has 15 millivolts. And that's where inflammation starts. All right. You begin to have pain. And again, over time, it is exposed to radiation stress. A weak cell turns into a very bad cell. It becomes abnormal state. It becomes a cancer cell. A cancer cell is called zombie cell. Why? Because they start to rob energies from other cells and they begin to duplicate and increase in number. Now, what happens when you switch on the iTeracare, the terahertz energy begins to destroy the bad cells in implosion because of resonance. And what happens to weak cells? Weak cells begins to recharge and going back to a healthy state, a normal state, which is 20 to 25 millivolts. This is the two main functions of iTeracare. It actively find and protect the good cells, actively find and eliminate the bad cells. Let's go to the benefits. All right, this is what's really amazing here. Number one, when you switch it on, all right, you will start to feel that there is elimination of unhealthy cells. What are unhealthy cells? These are abnormal cells, all right, bad cells, free radical cells. They're being absorbed and eliminated in the process. That's why I always suggest when you're using the blower, you got to drink a lot of water to flush all these unhealthy cells. Number two, activate inert cells. All right, these will absorb and activate cells with moderate temperature and eliminating dormant cells. And number three, this is what I really love here, increases self-healing ability in the body. Oh, this is the system that is inside of us that everybody's keeping, right? We have the capacity to heal ourselves. Once you switch on the iTeracare, that self-healing mechanism is increased. You start to heal yourself. Again, the device does not heal. Who heals? What heals? It's your body. All right? Down to the very DNA, it strengthens the healing capacity down to your DNA, and you start to feel the healing mechanism. And the first time you use this, you will feel sleepy. A lot of people said, oh, when I start using the iTeracare, Nathan, I started to feel so sleepy. I started to feel so relaxed. I want to sleep. Why? Sleeping is repairing. Wow. Relaxing is repairing. If you don't sleep, there's no healing. There's no regeneration. There's no repair. And that's what iTeracare is doing in the body. Number four, clears meridian and lymph point. This is unblocking of meridian points. It's just like you're having acupuncture. Stimulates the points, purifies the blood, and increases metabolism in the body. Now, improves microcirculation. What is microcirculation? These are tiny nerves and vessels inside your brain, inside your eyes, inside your organs. Not the chemicals and the pills cannot reach, because they are sacred parts of your body. Very, very sensitive. And what happens is when you start blowing the front of your head, you know what? The iTeracare has a range of 12 inches. 20 to 30 centimeters. So when you blow the front of your head, it passes through the back of your head. Wow. When you blow it on this side, it passes through that side. So all of that micro vessels inside the brain, inside the eyes, begins to dilate and begins to expand, and blood begins to flow powerfully, normally. So this is good for people who have problems inside the brain and they're very scared of taking drugs. Regulating glands. Terahertz absorbs and activates cells with moderate temperature, all right? Thus eliminating dormant cells, or in other words, it balances hormones. All right, number 7, removes body humidity. This is moisture and water retention. So if you want to lose that, it is good for moisture, water retention, and fats in the body. And last one, blood circulation. It cleanses, purifies the blood, all right, promotes circulation. So you will begin to feel active. You begin to feel good because why? Circulation begins to flow wonderfully and properly once you start the iTeracare. Now, how do you use this? No rocket science here. It's so easy to use, all right? All you need to do is switch it on and blow it on areas where you feel uncomfortable, all right? If your head is painful, blow it there. If your back is painful, blow it there, all right? And people are asking, how do I blow it? Is it this side or this side? Well, whichever side doesn't really matter because frequency is frequency, all right? And it can be used for little kids, newborn babies, right? Newborn babies are using here. We have elderlies, old people, all right? You can use it yourself, or you can put a stand like me. I have a stand here, all right? And I place it in a microphone stand and a hair blower stand. I switch it on and it blows on my back. It's very easy to use. It's non-invasive. Can you imagine? No contact needed, no contraindication. Meaning, if you're using your medicine, you can still use it, all right? And no side effects. 100% safe. Blockage is the main cause of body pain. In traditional Chinese medicine, if there is pain, equals blockage. Do you agree with me? Blockage of what? Blood. Blockage of qi or energy. When there is a blockage of circulation, pain is present. We call this inflammation, or we call this lesion. So in other words, if you have this blockage and pain, the body is not at optimum state. Cells are weak, blood is congested, qi is not properly flowing, and this is what good news is. iTeracare is 5-star against inflammation because inflammation is blockage. It's good for knee pain.